Good evening, all. Today I would be saying something very important and essential on communication. So I'm waiting for some more students and some more viewers to join, and then we can have a wonderful time together to share my thoughts, and we'll travel the journey to understand, to realize how communication is directly influencing our life, having a great impact on our daily life, on our profession, on everything we do. We need to communicate clearly and correctly with confidence. So yes, I am waiting for some more viewers. After 5 minutes, I'll be starting my discussion. So very good evening to all my viewers. I warmly welcome you today to listen and understand and appreciate the conversation, the discussion we'll have. You may also ask questions, and I would be willingly answering them, because I feel that communication is a two-way traffic. So let me first give you a small introduction of myself. I am Sanchita Sarkar, HOD of Communication Department and faculty of Sbihm Institute of Hotel Management College. So this is one thing which I always feel, that communication is the lifeline, the very essential thing since the time we take birth in this world on earth. So if you have noticed, you have seen small babies in the mother's lap, even they too communicate in their own way. Each one of us have our own communication style. Every living species, indeed, if you are watching carefully, every living creature communicates, because without communication, life is not possible. Life is not at all possible. So we need to communicate and share our thoughts, our feelings, our ideas, information, whatsoever. Now, if we look back, the word communication came from the Latin word communicare. Communicare means sharing our personal thoughts and feelings, and listening to others, exchanging our feelings with their other side, the receivers, our friends, our associates, our so many people around us. We all love to exchange our thoughts and ideas. So this goes on. This goes on for day and night, days together, months together, whole life. As long as we are living, we are loving to communicate. So now if we think about the process of communication, It is basically having 5 major elements. What are the major elements? The first element is the speaker or the sender. He can orally communicate, he can send written communication by texting, emailing. So he starts the round. Okay, he initiates the round of conversation, he breaks the ice. And after that, the first important task of a speaker or a sender is to encode the message. Now, the way he is sending the message, the content, the thought that he wants to share, it depends on his personal choice, the way he prefers to send. And then the channel comes, the medium through which he will be sending, he will be transmitting, he will be conveying the message to the other side. So then comes the channel, and there are different channels, different mediums. And then the fourth element is the receiver, who receives, who decodes. His function is to understand, to decode the message, what has been sent to him. And after that, the last element is the feedback. Now, feedback is very essential, very important, crucial, because the sender who is sending the message is always interested in knowing whether the receiver has got it, received it, what's his reaction, whether he liked it, whether he is against it, whether he is not in favor or is favoring it, he is liking it very much. So some yes, no, some kind of response or reply is called the feedback. And that again comes back to the sender. And this is a cyclic process. This goes on. So to be a very effective communicator, you have to get the feedback. You have to ask questions. Sometimes people keep silent, they don't respond. They are shy or introvert. They don't like to send their feedback immediately. But when you are asking any question, when you are asking how do you like it, what is your opinion, do you support the idea, then they come out with their reply, with their answer, which is the feedback. Even we do it every day practically. When we are sending our WhatsApp message, we are very eager to notice whether it has been ticked, whether the receiver has received it, and maybe the receiver will send the reply after some time. So then the process gets completed. Now, let me tell you something more. Like communication is now so vast, so impactful that it is doing a lot of function. So the next step we'll think about, the father of communication, the founder who really thought about communication was Aristotle. It is like 300 years back. He thought about that public speaking, the art of rhetoric, is very important. Art of rhetoric is important in the sense that you are speaking some very thoughtful ideas which are creating some impression on the mind of the listener, and he starts thinking on it, he starts analyzing, and so then the public speaking became very important in those days. And they were in fact trained and taught, and they developed the skill of rhetoric, So after that, there were many other founders and propagators who later, the only one thing about Aristotle is that he believed in one-way communication. Communication starts from the speaker, and the importance of receiver was not counted by him. Because for him, the listener was passive. It was not that important. A secondary role, he thought, the receiver is. But the speaker is the most important thing, and from him, the communication starts as well as ends with him. Excuse me. So then, he did not pay much attention to the receiver. But later on, the theorists who came forward, they thought that the communication should be two-way, otherwise it becomes boring, it becomes one-sided. So now, after this, there were many theories. First, it was a theory, once a linear theory, then came the interactive theories, then the transactional theories, and there were many, like you say Berlow SMCR model, Laswell's model. Okay, Laswell said that you can ask, that you can complete any communication by 5 WH questions: who, where, when, how, all these kind of questions. When you are sharing, you are expressing, articulating, you are getting the communication complete. The next, other than Berlow, there were Osgood, Sbihm, then there were last one, the dance helical model is very interesting, because here he said that when we share our thoughts, it is like orbit, like we are expanding our communication. As we grow older, when we are very young, we use very few words, just basic words to communicate. But as we grow older, our circle of friends and listeners increases, and so it is a spiral. It is like a circle becoming wider and bigger, and that is how communication is very important to us, motivating our lives, our joy. It is a source of joy, a source of like you feel that you could convey something which was so personal to people around you. And this is best when we look in today's world, present day. Communication is like digital communication, electronic communication. It is a long journey. Again, if we look into the pages of history, let me remind you, earlier the primitive people used to send fire signal, whenever they wanted to send any kind of message, what they used was a fire signal. Smoke rising from some place indicated that there was a danger maybe, or the person is wanting other people to be around him. Or sometimes they used to beat the drums and let people know that the king wants to convey some kind of important, vital message. So after that, again, it went through a lot of changes. Evolution happened in communication. Pigeons were used. If you remember, there were movies, Bollywood movies made on this messenger. Other changes that were happening all the time. So there were runners, you remember, there were people who used to run long miles to deliver the letter to the right place, right destination. And this, after that, there were again changes that brought new revolution in the communication mode. And there were telex, fax. Before that, we had radios, wireless communication, like telegraph. Television, after that radio, television and all, they were all mass communication medium. So then now we are using our smartphones and internet facilities, and it is so easily done. Within fraction of a second, your message becomes viral, your photos uploaded reaches to all corners, and so it is a drastic, it is a sea change that has happened in communication. So a wide leap, and it is growing, it is evolving. More in the future we'll have effortless and very quick transmission method of people sending their thoughts across to different parts of the world. So this is very nice as we look back and we think that we are progressing. This is all human brain that is finding out methods to make communication smooth, easy and good for all of us. Now, when we think about good communication, effective communication, there are 7 C's. 7C, capital C, which are like clarity. The message which you are sending across should be very lucid, clear, transparent. Because most of the time, either the sender or the receiver is doing it in a hurry or hastily, or having the impression maybe that the message is clear, but maybe there are flaws, there are mistakes in punctuation, or if you are not taking a pause, if you're not giving the right accent, so then it is not clearly expressed. So then clarity is the most essential thing of when you are sending a message. The second C is complete message. Whatever you are sending, the message should be completely told or written. There should be no gap. There should be no people are ambiguous. People are a little bit, thinking, confused, surprised what it can be. They are guessing, speculating. This all cause confusion, misunderstanding. So it should be complete message, concrete, reality. Something that is connected, rooted to this world. It should not be abstract, something which people don't actually believe in. So, concrete message is the third important C. Then we get courtesy. Courtesy is saying it politely with lot of respect. Here I want to bring the context of aggressive communication. Some people indulge in aggressive communication. And what is that? Like when we bully, tease, mock, or pass sarcastic remarks. These are hurting the sentiments of the listener or the receiver, and he will not like to reply. He will shy away, he will avoid and ignore. So that is a very negative communication, and we should refrain from doing it. So then what are the C's we have completed? Clarity, complete, concrete, correct message. The message should be correct. It should be true. Nothing falsified ideas. Nothing made up stories, rumors, or nothing of that sort. It should be very much correct, because the message which you are sending, you are responsible. So the listener would also like to receive the correct message. Even in journalism, they say if you are report writing, if you are doing report writing, a journalist cannot do yellow journalism. That means no incorrect ideas should be published or printed, because people get a wrong idea, wrong message is conveyed to them. So it is very responsible for both the sender and the receiver to encode and decode the message. What we more need to do is, there are different, kinds of communication. There are different types of. What are the different types of communication are mostly, broadly we can divide into two types, like verbal and non-verbal. So what is verbal? When you are using words, it is verbal, and without using words, it is non-verbal. Now if we consider which is more important, verbal or non-verbal, it is surveyed that non-verbal has more importance than verbal. Why? Because sometimes non-verbal conveys a lot. It creates impression. The first impression may not be the last impression, but it can be a long-lasting impression. So that is why your gesture, your posture, your body language, your eye contact, your facial expression are all very important. They are counted. So when you are sitting for an interview, the way you sit in front of the interviewer, your wearing formal attire, your sitting straight posture, and these are all observed and noticed. The way you answer the questions, your smile, the facial expression. The most important is the smile, which is very much related to all industries, be it in the aviation. When you are boarding the flight, you have seen the flight attendants smile with a smiling face, they welcome you. And even in the hotel and hospitality, different sectors, a smiling face has a lot of value. It goes a long mile. So you should never show your tiredness, your any kind of negative feelings on your face, which is very repulsive to the guest or to the customer that you are handling. Okay, so then comes the eye contact. This is another important thing which many people may not always pay attention to. So as long as you are dealing with a customer or answering question, giving answers to the interviewer, you must always maintain the eye contact. Eye contact shows that you're respecting the person and you're attentive, you're fully focused. So that should be maintained all through. And then what we say, there are other terms like kinesics. Kinesics is something to do with your body language. So sometimes we are expressing a lot by moving our hands. Like when I'm explaining something, the way I move my arms, or the way different facial expressions I throw. You have seen this, the actors do it so well, their body language is synchronizing with the words. with the dialogue that they say. So it becomes so very impactful. We like the acting, because the body language is very important, that they can do it so easily and with a lot of comfort they do. But in the case of hypocrites, why we say he's a bluffer, he's a fraud, he's a hypocrite? Why? Because his body language and his words are not matching, are not synchronizing. There's a mismatch. So then he's caught. Maybe he's thinking he's smart enough, but when we listen, the listeners and the viewers understand there is a gap in between and we don't trust him. So to gain the confidence and the trust of the clients and the customers, you have to maintain this perfect body language. Okay, kinesics, it is called. Haptics is the communication of touch. So sometimes you are touching like handshake. It should be a very firm handshake. It should not be that some people hold the hands loosely, and that is not a right way of doing the handshake. It should communicate your confidence level. So firmly holding the hand and then shaking it is very important. So that is a kind of what you say, haptics, touch, by touch. So when you are blessing, or when you are touching the feet, or when you are hugging, these are all you are conveying your feelings. Inner feelings comes out through your haptics or bodily touch. Okay. Then there is a term called proxemics. Proxemics is regarding distance. So what is the distance that you should maintain? So there is a public space, there is a personal space, there is a social space, and there is an intimate space. So when you are dealing with public, then you have to maintain 12 feet distance. So because they are unknown people maybe whom you don't know, so you are keeping them at a distance, 12 feet. So then when it's very intimate, you are like your friend who is very dear to you, your beloved person, your dear person. So then you are very close to each other. Okay, and personal space is 1 arm's length. It should be 1 arm's length, and social space should be 4 feet to 12 feet. Like this also, communication through maintaining distance, you are expressing your communication. So haptics, kinetics, and then comes paralanguage. Paralanguage is your voice, your tone, your pitch, your volume, the way you are using your voice is very important for all people. We all like to hear sweet voice, isn't it? So then suppose a telephone operator, if she has a sweet voice, then people would love to listen to her when she communicates, when she does the conversation. So in that case, we always have to keep in our mind that paralanguage also plays an important part in communication. Right. So then what we do is, this all goes for the non-verbal. Now when I go to the verbal side, that is the communication through words, these are of 2 types. They are oral and they are written. Oral communication is done, we all know, like in meeting, seminar, conference, debate, quiz, extempo speech, class lecture, interview, telephone conversation, face-to-face conversation, all orally done. Okay. Now when we go for written communication, it also plays equal role, like business letter writing, email, telex, fax, notice, memos, memorandums, circular, report writing. These are also done in daily basis, and very effective they are when you are doing your business dealings, when you are doing any kind of transactions. So then letters, official letters carry a lot of value. So there's a format of writing official letters, whether it's an inquiry letter. Now suppose in hospitality sector, when you are going to hotel and hospitality sector, yes, there will be guests who will be walking in, and when they are staying in any hotel, it can be 5-star hotel, 5-star deluxe hotel, or motel, it can be flotel, the rotel. There are many kinds of hotels, but the basic thing is that they may have complaints. They may complain about many things, which is very normal, and then you must know how to solve, how smart thinker and smart solution you can give will fetch you points, brownie points. Because then you cannot show your frustration, you cannot show your temper on the guest. So you have to be very humble and you have to admit, yes, it's something technical fault or that you are looking into the matter, you are trying to solve it as soon as possible. So complaint letter, inquiry letter, recommendation letter, there are various kind of official letters. Okay. Now what we say, hospitality sector and hotel sectors, here communication is the most dominating factor. If you are a good communicator, you can handle any kind of guest, whether domestic or international, and mostly because international people who come to our country, perhaps to a city, they know nothing. They know absolutely nothing about the city, locations, what are the landmarks, and they have a fear in their mind, they have apprehension, transport, how would they travel and all. So then here, everyone related to the hotel industry, to the hospitality industry, try their best to communicate and make the person feel comfortable so that they think that a hotel is called second home. Okay, so all kind of comforts are provided to them to make their stay a very memorable one. They will remember it after they go back to their own land. So then whether it is F&B service, whether it is housekeeping, whether it is front office, every person in the hotel industry should be well versed. They should have this power, the skill of communication with confidence and with ease. They should be able to give all information that they are seeking for. Okay, so then once you can buy the confidence, if they trust you, if the guest trusts the hotel staff, then his stay becomes very comfortable, enjoyable, and he looks forward to visit the city again and again, or perhaps he may recommend it to his friends, relatives, and many other people. So that's why front office especially, there are concierge people who are directly related to the transport, the different kind of tours and the city tour, which are the places to be seen in the city. They always give that kind of information. Like the reception people, they help in checking in and checking out. The bills, the cashiers help in settling the bills and all. So every person is so very eager and interested in giving and putting their best foot forward to show that there is no problem in any kind of communication. Housekeeping people, food and beverage service, food production department, it can be also sales and marketing. Sales and marketing is a very important department where you are interacting with sellers and buyers and customers, and like you have to buy essentials for the hotel. So you find in the hotel industry how communication is important. If you go to the hospitality sector, that is the aviation industry, or it can be travel and tourism, there also communication is playing a very significant role. So you have found that people love to travel, and this we have realized post-pandemic, like post-COVID. Now they say what kind of tourism it is going on. I learned the term. It is called revenge tourism. Like so long the people were confined in their house, this last 2 years, 1920 and all, 21, after those 2 vaccine shots were completed, people dared to step out of their house, and now they're loving tourism so much because 2 things very important to remember. Because every man, every human is a social being. This was defined by Rousseau. He was a political scientist. Rousseau said that every human is a social being. So you cannot keep a man confined in his own room for months together, giving him food, giving him water and all comfort, TV, entertainment, everything. But he is not able to interact with outsiders. And that is a cause of annoyance, depression. So we have all realized when we were stuck in our rooms, we had everything, but we were missing something very essential, and that is stepping out. So now it is much better, the situation is better. So tourism is also picked up, hospitality industry is picking up, and hotels are running well, and we pray to God that this goes on, this COVID should not interfere with our life and should not make us feel panic. Should not panic anymore. So communication is why related in and out with every department, with every industry, and no one can deny that. When suppose you are not able to communicate, who are the people who cannot communicate? The ones who are very depressed, morose, maybe due to long chronic illness, or maybe due to some traumatic experience, or maybe they are Alzheimer's patients who cannot communicate with the present situation. They are so pathetic. They live a very miserable life. So this is the joy. This is something which has God given us. This power, this skill to enjoy the company of people, be it the colleagues when you are working in an organization, the corporate office and all. There are so many people around you, colleagues, boss. Now let me explain you one thing. There are directions of communication. Communication sometimes is done upward, sometimes downward, sometimes horizontal, and sometimes diagonal. Now what are this? Upward communication goes from the lower rung, from the lower category of staff and employees to the boss, to the executive, to the higher authority. Suppose they want leave, they want bonus, they want their demands fulfilled, so then it is going up, so it is an upward communication. When the superior level of executive or authority, they send any order or instruction, then it is coming down to the lower rung of the employees, so it is a downward communication. So any order from the boss is coming down to the subordinate is a downward communication. Sometimes we communicate in a horizontal way, means lateral, like the same level, same post, same designation. We are like F&B manager communicating with the front office manager, or he is communicating with the another manager, food production manager, or some department manager, housekeeping manager. So then when it is of the same post and designation, it is a horizontal or a lateral communication. And the last one is diagonal. It is like when it is like drawing a rectangle or a square, and from the corners you draw the line, and it is a crossword communication. So then it is crossing. It is a crossing communication, like shortcut. So suppose emergency rises, crisis rises, and the manager has to speak directly to the supplier. Then it becomes a diagonal communication. So this is happening in organizations all the time. The 4 directions of communications, and so then also we need to have the convincing part. You have to buy the trust and the belief, because generally it is our attitude, we have a negative feeling that why we should believe, why we should listen to you. So communication does not mean only speaking. It has 4 skills. It is LSRW. LSRW means listening, speaking, reading and writing. These 4 skills are the 4 pillars of communication. So a good communicator always uses these 4 pillars to convey his message. You understand? So suppose some people have problem with listening. What are the barriers? The main barrier is that when you are a very poor listener, when you refuse to listen, it may be that you are not feeling well, or your mood is not good, or you have some other thoughts, preoccupied thoughts in your mind. So you are not having that interest or inclination to listen. So then it becomes a blockade, becomes a barrier. And then communication is not effectively sent. It falls flat. Okay, then another barrier is language. Suppose you don't know the language. Suppose if I tell I don't know the Spanish language, I don't know German language, then how do I communicate? 1 second. So language barrier is very common. Even in our country, it's not possible, or there are very few talented people who are multilingual. Multilingualists, they know many languages, Marathi, Tamil, other than every state has their own language. So it's not possible to know all the language. And when you are transferred, suppose you get a transfer order, then how will you communicate there? The local language is very important to know. When you are going for daily marketing and all daily conversation, then you need to know the local language. So that is another fear we have when we get a transfer order. Okay, language barrier is also called semantic barrier. The next barrier is cultural barrier, cultural background, family background, or educational background. These are not same for all people. We come from different family background. Some are very conservative family, coming from conservative family. Some are coming from very modern family. And when we are communicating, then we are making fun. Oh, you are practicing this kind of thing, superstitious belief in your house is still there. But see, every family is so unique. Every person is so unique. So we should always try to feel. So that is another C, which I think I've missed. 7C. One of the C is to consider. You have to consider the background of the receiver. From where is he coming? What kind of family? What kind of country? What is his upbringing? Then only if he is comfortable, you will be able to communicate with him. Otherwise the communication is not done. Okay, the next barrier is psychological. Sometimes we are having a blocked mind. We think that we know enough. So we don't like to listen to people who are preaching. So don't preach. That is a kind. Don't teach me. Especially the teenagers. The teenagers don't mind it. Even we people at our age also sometimes refuse to listen. That is because of a psychological problem that we don't like to expand our horizon. Mindscape is something which has no limit. There's no definite boundary of, you cannot draw a line that here communication stops. It's like a river which flows on and on. It has no end. It is changing, it is turning, but it is going on. So then in that case, we have to keep our minds open and receive new ideas. Technological ideas are fast changing, developing. So if we are not listening, if we are not learning, how do we communicate? So then we'll be outdated, backward. So we have to move forward. Another problem is physical barrier, which is noise. It can be external noise. It can be when the message is not properly communicated. It is also a noise. External noise can be like banging of doors, or like in the railway station, so much of people, crowd, and shouting and screaming in the market, fish market, we say. So much of external noise. There, if you are trying to answer a phone call, if you're trying to say something, no people will be able to hear you because you're not audible. So then you have to choose the right location where you can speak clearly and the receiver can hear you properly, and then only the message is completely reached. So your aim should be, the message should be correctly sent across. Otherwise there's no meaning. It is pointless if you are talking to yourself. No one likes to communicate with his own self. Your intention is to please, to impress the audience, to convince. So then audience analysis comes. Those who are very leaders, the leaders, the trainers, the managers, those who are explaining or taking class lecturers and all, they have to think about the audience. Like every person is not having the same IQ, intelligence quotient. Now how to explain it? Your method of explanation should be very easy. You should avoid using jargons. What are jargons? These are difficult words. These are ambiguous words which may have two meanings. The listener will not be able to understand which meaning you're trying to imply in that particular context. So then you have to avoid using those jargons and make your language very simple, easy to understand. Nothing to is not nothing like you're showing off your pedantic knowledge, because communication is only it is enjoyable when you understand it. This we have done when we were in class 10. Remember comprehension passage? We used to get unseen passage where we were told to read the passage and then answer the questions. So if the passage was too difficult to understand, then we got that shock and we got the fear that the answers, how to find them. Then it was like guessing. Pure guessing we used to do, that it can be right, it may not be right. But when the passage was very understandable, then we were having confidence. Yes, my first answer is right and all the answers are right. So that is our intention. Our intention should be to convey effective message, impactful message. And see, look at the movie makers, the composers. They are also, I have not explained about the other communications like visual communication or audio-visual communication. Okay, like visual communication, when you are seeing the banners, the placard, all this kind of traffic signals, you are watching the traffic signals and then the traffic starts moving. And the movies or the theater where you are also doing both audio and video. Communication is done. Also with our sense organs, we do communication. Like suppose someone is cooking in some other house and the fragrance and the smell comes and it hits your nose and your appetite rises. That is also communication. Even one day I was explaining in the class, like when we do telepathy, or there are many things which is like, it is so mysterious. Like when communication is happening so spontaneously, so like without thinking, we are communicating. Even sometimes what we had in our mind, what we did not want to share came out from our mouth. It happens so quickly, so spontaneously. It is another kind of pleasure and joy. Both, on both sides. The speaker gets the joy, the listener also gets the joy. And there are different kinds of listening now. So you have to do evaluative listening. Whenever someone tells you something, you have to understand, analyze what is he saying, the words, the message. So that we do when we watch a movie. What is the message of Bala Sheshe or Bala Shuru? What is the film director want to convey? Even the stories. When we are reading a storybook, when we are reading, listening to news or reading any kind of thing, article, whatever passage, we always try to get the moral out of it, the lesson, the message out of it. And once we get it, we are happy, satisfied. Or sometimes our satisfaction is not fulfilled, then the movie is not a blockbuster. Okay, so that is how music composers, the recitation people who do recitation, everyone is communicating. Every person is involved in this field of communication. And that is why it is a variety, it is a wide as the sky, as wide as the ocean. You must enjoy the different varieties of communication that we knowingly or unknowingly very much into this art. It is called a soft skill. It is a soft skill because it is depending on your way of presentation. When you are presenting, it can be in a meeting or any kind of seminar. So what kind of presentation you are doing is very important. Like when you garnish the food, it becomes tastier. So how you say it is more important than what you say. What you say is the content, but how you say is your style. And it is your personality. This charismatic personality, the way they present. Look at the celebrities, look at the anchors and all, when they do the anchoring and all. So how they present the events. Sometimes they are cracking jokes, sometimes they are making fun, sometimes they are saying it in a very proper way, a sober way. So it depends. You always have to capture the attention of the audience. They should be involved. That is why it is a two-way. At the beginning I said Aristotle insisted on one way, but basically it is two-way. That is why sometimes you have gone in different musical concerts and all, you found the audience are also singing. The singer is singing and sometimes he's stopping and letting the audience sing the remaining part of the song. You become engrossed in it, become involved in it. It becomes more entertaining. So this hospitality and hotel industries, communication, I think I've spoken enough. But still there are many things to explain because it is such a huge matter. Like sometimes I feel I could have said this, I should have pointed out that. What I find is that some people are introvert type, All people do not love to communicate. Those who are shy and reserved, they speak less. They may be good listeners, but they don't like to speak much because maybe they are lacking in thoughts, in ideas. You have to be knowledgeable, so you have to read. Reading is important. Like I said, I always suggest my students to read newspapers, books, any kind of reading article is very helpful, very informative. So keep on the practice of reading. Even Google reading you can do. It's not bad at all. But this. The main thing which I have seen the change now is like going to games, video games and all is something different altogether. But when you're browsing and you're on net and you're reading some useful materials and all, it is very much giving you a lot of information and is updating you. It is making you smart, and you can then communicate very confidently that yes, I know it, I've read it, and that becomes, you can grow. Communication helps you in building relation, in making friends. So when you are able to communicate easily, you are having a lot of friends around you. That is why you find what you say, CR, or you can say the school captain, he is the one who is guiding, monitoring the other juniors and all. The way he is speaking is so captivating that he can control. Whatever he wants to say is liked by the other students. So this starts from the school level. That is why we have debate. We have quiz. We need to practice this in our college, in school, in class, in any kind of like extempo speech, on the spot, without thinking. Impromptu speaking. That gives you confidence that yes, whatever subject matter, I am able to deal with it. I am capable of dealing with it. So this need to be practiced in the house as well. And let me say something about Sbihm College. Here, because I am HOD and assistant professor of this college, I always advise students and always make them feel happy that they should communicate in the class in different ways. And see, now you can ask whether in English only or in vernacular language. Yes, we get students from pure Bengali medium, pure Hindi medium, or maybe English medium students also are coming and doing classes here. So it becomes like a medley, here you get a chance to interact with different background students. And let me tell you frankly and honestly, here students are picking up their communication skill. There's a great change, a great improvement for many students which I've watched personally. And I liked it so much. It is like I felt that I've achieved something when I found them that they are communicating smilingly and they are saying that, ma'am, we are so confident now when we are speaking or writing. We are not at all afraid. We are not getting the fear which we used to have before. So Sbihm is helping you to groom, to learn, properly inculcate the ideas of communication thoroughly by writing, by speaking, by reading, and in different ways. So please let me tell you, there are many colleges of hotel management, but here if you come, it is a guaranteed one that you will be learning a lot, not only on the particular core subjects, but communication will be so much in your blood that you will be able to speak with a lot of smartness, very efficiently. And so the contact number, if you just note down, it would be good. So there are 2 contact numbers I would be sharing now. It is first number is 98300-12536. Once more I repeat, 98300-12536. The second contact number is 9831100-773. 9831100-773. And this thing is website is www.sbihm.com. Once again, www.sbihm.com. Okay, now we have students because this college is helping students to learn different degree course. It is diploma course. We are having diploma course for 2 years. We have masters for 2 years. And we have bachelors for 3 years. And now there are different departments also. You can say hospital department is there, hospitality is there, hotel is there, travel tourism is there, fashion technology is there, even mass communication is also there. So if you are interested and after you complete your board exam, don't waste time in looking here and there, searching any other place. I would advise you and would request you, and even I would feel glad to get you in this college, Subhash Bose Institute of Hotel Management. It is Jatragachi New Town. We also have in Barashat and in Salt Lake. So you can contact at the given number, and you can search for more information in the website. And this is very helpful because see, one more point I would like to highlight is there's a confusion between choosing this professional course and the degree course. Now earlier during our times people were more inclined to degree course like graduate BSc, MSc or BCom, MCom, like that, BA, MA, all these courses, degree courses. It is there, it is not extinct, it is still there. Students are getting admitted in those kind of courses also. But professional course has an extra advantage because here you are trained, you are having practical class, directly hands-on training. So you are knowing it thoroughly in and out, every smallest detail. Every department you are coming to know the subject, theoretical knowledge as well as practical knowledge. So here the knowledge is so comprehensive, so complete that when you are joining the industry, then you know everything, A to Z. There is no confusion, no fear, no shakiness. You are so confident to handle any kind of situation. So that's why professional courses are now gaining score, are now becoming more important. So in that case, I would tell you to induct more in this professional course, which SBIHM is always has opened the gates to welcome you, and we are there to help you, to guide you, because this is going to benefit not only you, but everyone related with your family members, your friends, everyone is there to see. Suppose when any person gets success, we say successful person has a lot of people helping, supporting. So pillars of strength, you need to have pillars of strength, boosting you, encouraging you. So this is all very important. In this case, is 100% guarantee that SBIHM will guide you on the right track, will help you to get a job in this competitive world. When there's so much of cutthroat competition, rat race is going on, it's very difficult to stick to a job, to show your best, to excel. And where else will you go other than SBIHM? I think I could make myself clear. Still, if you have any doubts, if you have any kind of questions or queries, you can always ask. And we have classes from here, like 10:30 a.m. we start the class, and it is over by 4:15 p.m. We have theory class and practical class. Excursions are there. We do project on the excursions. It is affiliated to Macaut University as well as CCOM University. So if you want to know more details about the university, rules and regulations and all, you have to come and visit our college campus. I said it is in Newtown, Jatragachi. You can come here. You can also try in Barashat as well as Salt Lake, and you can help in giving you more information. And the classrooms are so well airy, spacious, AC rooms are there, and everything is so very well done that will satisfy you. And of course the knowledge is most important. We have libraries, wonderful library. We have stacked a lot of good books, valuable books. We give notes in the class as well as online sometimes when required. So this is all very benefiting to you, I believe. And is there anything more I have missed? I think it is all done. Communication, its role. Okay. Next week again I think I will say something how to become an effective communicator. To create impression, you have to influence. See, motivational speaking. Motivational speaker is a new profession that has started up. There are lots of motivational speakers. If you are watching YouTube like Sadhguru, then Sandeep Maheshwari and all, who are those people? Only they have wonderful communication skill. They can motivate the minds. What you know, they are saying the same thing, but in a different way, in a new way, in a unique way. And then somewhere it touches your heart. You start thinking, yes, it can be done in that way. So it is helping us to overcome our depression, frustration, disappointment. It is a regular part of life. So much of competition is there. Rivals are there. So then you need to be motivated. Who else can do that other than the motivational speakers? So that is another profession. If you have good communication skill, you can be a good not only motivational speaker, entertainment industry also wants it. Entertainment people are there who are always encouraging people in speaking well. Like if you're listening to Sunday Suspense, look at the way Mir is narrating the story. It is also depending on communication prowess. The acumen, the way he reads the story, is becoming so vivid. You can see, you can feel the characters in front of your eyes. Look at Brototi Bandyopadhyay, the way she recites the poem. It makes you cry, it draws tears from your ears. So this is how communication. It should be so powerful, you know. It should shake, it should stir the mind of the listener. And then he'll be connected. At once he'll get connected. And he will remember your speech, your message. Like see, we always quote Vivekananda, Rabindranath Tagore, Dr. Kalam Azad. Their words never become like old, outdated. Like see, always I remember the word fail, F-A-I-L. We feel so disgraceful when we fail. But basically fail is first attempt in learning and becomes positive. So always carry a positive attitude when you are communicating. Don't think that you are having inferiority complex. You are worthless. You can't speak. This negative feeling should not be there when you are communicating. Yes, I will come. That he came, he saw, he conquered. So vini, vidi, visi. That is my message. Wherever you go, whatever you communicate, you should always win the heart of the listeners. Okay, the audience. Vini, vidi, visi. You come, you stand, you give your speech, and you win the hearts. You steal the hearts and go away. So then only you are like a what you say, a showstopper. You are a showstopper, right? Thank you so much. Thank you for your patient listening and hearing. Wish to see you again later.